gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the media, today we have Ambassador Meg Whitman, the U.S. Ambassador to Kenya. She's visited Kajiado and she has had discussions with His Excellency, our Governor. The Governor is going to introduce her here. The Governor is going to make some brief on their discussion, and then he will invite the Ambassador to make remarks. Then after that, we will take about 3 questions, and then we can proceed. So, Your Excellency, karibu.
Your Excellency Ambassador Whitman, members of the Fourth Estate, I'm very pleased this morning to have hosted Her Excellency Ambassador of the United States, Madam Whitman, and we have had a comprehensive conversation around modulated pastoralism, where we are looking at the current drought situation, but at the same time thinking about long-term resilience, so that we see that we never get where we are. We have discussed a broad question of livestock value chain, how we are going to organize this pastoralism in a way that it does not get heavily affected by climate change, with an emphasis on cooperatives, particularly for women, to deal with the dairy line, value addition within the dairy, and also an element of food security with agriculture, being a county that produces quite a bit of horticulture for the country and for export. We need to organize horticulture so that there are not so much losses during the harvesting time or before it gets to the market. But also we have looked at the question of other livestock value chain products like meat, the issue of leather, aggregation, cold storage, both for the agricultural products and livestock value chain product, to see to it that those who are involved in the business actually get benefits that accrue from the business. We have also had a conversation about the ongoing drought situation, where we highlighted that many community members are unable now to get food, and also a number have not been able to send their children to school, being heavily dependent on their livestock that has been heavily decimated by drought. We continue to emphasize that Kajiado is at the alarm stage of the drought. It has not rained, we have been at the alarm stage, and therefore we want to emphasize that the situation is getting dire and dire by the day. And so we call upon our national government, our partners, as we continue as a county government, to also do our bit to ensure that we don't lose lives due to the ongoing drought. So I now wish to invite the ambassador to make her remark, but I want to again say thank you very much on behalf of the people of Kajiado for your visit. And we want also to continue to express our gratitude for hosting the First Lady of the United States of America, Madam Biden. And as Kajiado, we express our gratitude and friendship to you. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Well, first I'd like to say to the County of Kajiado, thank you for hosting the First Lady of the United States. I know what a big undertaking that was for the governor as well as the county commissioner, and it could not have gone better. It was a very meaningful visit for the First Lady. She saw firsthand the effects of the drought here in Kajiado County. And as you probably saw on Monday, Samantha Power, the head of USAID, earmarked another $126 million for Kenya around food relief, both cash and actually food transfer. So it was a very meaningful visit, and I want to thank Kajiado County and all the people who came to meet with the First Lady and bring their children and talk with her. It was a very, very meaningful trip, so thank you for that. The United States obviously has been a longtime partner of Kenya on many, many different dimensions. This trip for me to Kajiado was actually planned before the First Lady's trip, and I decided I wanted to come anyway. So I've now been to Kajiado twice in 5 days. I probably won't be back in another 5 days, but
always welcome.
thank you. But we've established, I think, quite a strong relationship. I understand a lot more about this county. I understand the importance of the Maasai here. As you can see, I got dressed also on Sunday, and so thank you for this. It's lovely. And we're going to work together on many of the things that the governor talked about. We're going to see how the economic development team, USAID, USDA, and other agencies at the U.S. Embassy can work to help Kajiado along with other counties here in Kenya that have been so affected by the drought. And there's no question that your county is in the top tier of those who are suffering from loss of livestock, loss of food, loss of agriculture. So we feel very much for Kajiado County, and we're going to try to do everything we can to help. And the governor has a very clear plan for the county. I thought his 3-point plan, modulated pastoralism, towns, and others are very coherent and very easy for people like us to understand, which is a big help.
Thank you.
And I was particularly fascinated by his discussion on modulated pastoralism. So thank you for having us. Thank you for welcoming us. And I think maybe we'll answer some questions.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
Thank you very much. I think we will allow the members of the media to ask the 3 questions on first question.
So much. Good morning, Madam Ambassador. Thank you so much for coming to Kajiado. My name is Victor Juma. Mine will be on matters of climate change mitigation and adaptation, whereby 70% of households in the remote parts of Kajiado County are still using firewood and charcoal for cooking. How is the U.S. government working close with the county government to address this through empowering indigenous women to adopt clean cooking methods?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of work that's being done around climate change resilience, which is how do we help the very real situation that exists today of people losing livestock and milk and other things, and then how do we build resiliency in the future? Because I think we all know now climate change is real. All you have to do is look at the last 50 years of rainfall, and it's an inexorable march. So we have a number of programs around clean cooking, ethanol, and others. We think there's an opportunity for a fairly significant ethanol industry here. And we understand that Kenya cannot continue. I was just at a sandalwood burn the other day, that there's some very valuable forests here that are, a big part of the mitigation of climate change, that Kenya just cannot continue to, cut down those forests. So USAID and the Economic Development Team are very interested in ethanol in particular around cooking, as well as what other industries can be brought to bear that can provide a livelihood in addition to pastoralism. And the governor said it well, how can we help in some ways provide value adds that allow value added in agriculture, value added in livestock. And so we're going to take a look at all of those things. Thank you.
We can have another question like Victor's one.
Good morning. My name is Major William TV37. Mine is in relation to drought. As U.S. government, what are your plans to handle who are the potential benefits with the aid that is coming through from your government?
Yeah.
And which are your prioritized areas and counties in Kenya?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. So we just got this aid, and we didn't know much about it before you did. It's the length of time that we get notice on this is quite small. So we're working through exactly how to provide that aid. There's 2 kinds of aid. There is cash aid, and then there is actually foodstuffs like sorghum and maize, white maize, yellow maize. And there are some counties in the north, I think particularly Marsabit, Turkana, where the markets aren't working anymore. And so actual food aid is going to be what's required. Here in Kajiado, I understand that cash aid is actually probably preferred because the markets are working, and those individuals can take that cash aid and go to the market, which creates people's ability to make money at the markets. So we will be working out the actual division of that 126 million in the next several weeks, and we'd obviously like to keep the baseline certainly here. Now, last year, you know that the United States provided $355 million to Kenya, so this is slightly less than half of last year. We hope more will come, but we have to spend this 126 million as effectively and efficiently to the people who need it the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador. We can have one more question.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
From KTN. Now, you talked about value addition in the agriculture
question is maybe Governor could tell us what is the investment gap that is there, and maybe Madam Ambassador, you can touch on have you agreed on a specific number in terms of investment that will be coming to the process?
Well, I'll let you speak to the gap, and I can tell you my point of view on the latter.
Yeah, we note that the current drought situation has been largely occasioned by the fact that we have not built resilience around our agriculture, around our livestock value chain, and what now we are focusing on is to make sure that our farmers do not become heavily rainfall reliant. Basically, we want to deal with the question of our water sources. We had some permanent streams some times back that are drying up. And the livestock value chain has never been quite addressed. So by addressing the livestock value chain, in our national plan of every county having an industrial park, for us in Kajiado, our aggregated contribution or product contribution to the national cause will be the livestock value chain. And therefore, to ask what is the gap, the entire livestock system has never been quite addressed. No meaningful investments have been put there before. Those involved have never been organized into cooperatives. There are no systems to address their value addition like abattoirs, cold storage spaces. And therefore, this is an area that we are basically starting literally from zero. It is gratifying, however, that there is now a clear roadmap to address that. It is also important for me to highlight that we have had conversation with our community under the framework of citizen participation, and they are all now ready to embrace a new way of doing things, as opposed to the traditional way of livestock keeping. We want to see a possibility of diversification of our alternative livelihoods. In fact, alternatives going forward will be things like beekeeping, possibility of introducing chicken into our integrated school shamba system, and also encouraging the pastoral community to also do agro livestock business, so that there is an element of farming. So really, that is the direction we want to take. And in our conversation, we discussed with the ambassador that it will provide a fertile ground for partnership, and we look forward to them supporting that cause. Thank you very much. Welcome, Madam Ambassador.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure I can add much to what the governor said. I think he said a few things to me that were very insightful. One is that the livestock value chain has never really make their own decisions about LGBTQ rights. In the United States, we probably have a different position, which is we view LGBTQ rights as human rights. But we respect every country's point of view on what position they want to take on this, and we will respect that. But of course, our democratic values and the way we feel is different, and that's okay. Countries have differences. We have a very strong working relationship over many years, and I think the Kenyan government probably knows the U.S. perspective. In fact, I know they do. But we also respect Kenya's right on this particular issue. But I want to underscore there is absolutely no linkage at all between that food and drought relief and Kenya's stance on LGBTQ. So thank you. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure.
Well, it's nice to
I'm going to have my team follow up
Yep.
with this.
Yes.
Hopefully sometime next month.
Yes.
And then find out where
Yep.
the progress is.
And I want to work on a couple of projects.